let's wrangle up the makeup. Okay, hello everybody. So today I'm gonna do my stage makeup routine. I don't wear makeup in normal life because I'm not allowed to. And also it's too much of a hassle and we don't have time for that. So I've already prepped my skin with washing my face. Do it. And then I use the Witch Hazel by... and this Clinique moisturizer. Yay, skincare! Usually when I'm going on stage, I think I don't usually use moisturizer because it makes all my makeup like slip and slide, and we don't want that. So, but we've already done it today, so it's too late. So let's start off. I use the Morphe makeup sponge, and I've already wet this, and the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the color 20 Sand. There's a mirror right here, so I'm gonna look in it. And I start with under eyes and just blend that out. Usually I like to sit really, really close to the mirror just so we can see everything that's going on, but the shot doesn't really allow that. So, you know, it's fine. I have a really bad bag, so I just like to pack it on. I don't use liquid foundation. I have one. I have this Wet n Wild one, which is really, really really well. And it surprisingly matched my skin tone, and I just like picked it out of the Ulta, just like, and then I put here too on my smile lines because I'm gonna bake. And then I also put some in my T-zone, highlight that forehead. And then if I have any other like small imperfections that I want to cover, I can put that too for more coverage. So the reason that I don't use liquid foundation is partially because I'm a stage performer, so when you're on stage, you want everything to be dried down. So I use like powders on top of powders on top of powders, and that really helps like hold in all that sweat, girl. And you know, just when you're dancing and you're going crazy, you don't want to be worrying about your makeup. For setting powder, I use the RCMA powder. It does unfortunately have flashback, which sucks, but I have an entire jar of it, so I'm gonna use it. Also, I have block-eyed tear duct in my right eye. So what that means is that it leaks all the time. So especially when I'm wearing makeup, the makeup just like agitates the whole thing. Make sure to bake those smile lines. It just makes my eye run like crazy. And so I like to have a lot of powders to help combat that a little bit. And the first time I wore liquid foundation, like the most recent time I did it, I wore it to a vocal concert, and that was my first time. Honey, don't play yourself like that. Because I thought it was like fine. Like I knew it wasn't great, but I thought it was fine. And I went to like a party after, like we did dress rehearsal in that makeup, we did our performance in that makeup, and then I went to an after party, and I just like pack it on there. We can dust it off later. The lighting of this video is getting increasingly worse, but you know, what can you do? Let me close the window, see if that helps. Is that better? I feel like the light's more diffused. Now it's really dark in here, but you know? But yeah, so I went to a party with that makeup on, and then I went home with a friend after, and it was like 12 o'clock, and we started at like 3. And I just remember like walking into the bathroom and being like, what is going on with my face? Like it slipped everywhere. And I was like, no wonder people were not taking me seriously when I look like a melted Barbie. And that's on me. Next, we do the eyes. I'm just gonna go like this. This will help cancel out some of that darkness. It's essential to make stupid faces when you do your makeup, like, you know. And usually this is where we start already having problems. Just like with concealer sticking to my eye, it's already going downhill for the eyes, and we've barely begun. So now that we've got that set down, try not to crease it. This is a Morphe M139. This is one of my favorite brushes. I like to use this shade from Clinique. It's this like base translucent color. I usually like to just use like a cream kind of color, and I just put that all over the lid. And this, I just like to go all crazy with this. Just throw it everywhere. I'm trying to find my other blending brush. Here it is. Okay, I also have two of these. These are like my eyeshadow queens. This is the Morphe M532. Everybody does that, but like real beauty gurus don't do that. And then I have this Laura Geller palette from probably 3rd grade. I've had it forever. It's crusty, dusted, like concealers in the pan. But you know, it's great. And I use this shade right here. It's called Suede. And it's a nice matte brown. And I just in there, and then I go in the crease. And usually when I'm doing my eyeshadow, because it's brown, you can't tell the difference up close. Like you can't tell the difference between like, oh, that's too much, and like there's literally nothing there. So I like to have another mirror, like a big one, far away, so that I can look at the small one and look at the big one and see how it's looking. Also because I follow the natural shape of my eye, and my eyes are different shapes. So I like to just start with the natural shape first, and then look at the bigger mirror and see where I need to make corrections. This eye look is something that I've really like perfected within, let's say, the last 3 years. I started doing it like this in freshman year when I was in Annie. And the reality when you're doing stage makeup is that most of the time it has to be natural, because you're trying to look like a person. So we're not trying to be a glam goddess. Usually highlighter and just like glitter and all the things that make it fun in general are just banned. So you just have to get really good at highlighting your natural figures, your natural face. I remember in Annie, we did a stage door, and the theater that I did it at was very, very large. So we had to do like extreme makeup, right? Ow! Bruh. My brother is being purposefully loud. And I remember we would do matinees for kids' schools. And so we did a stage door. That's where we get to sign the programs. The kids say, you know. And this one kid came up to me and he like handed me his program. And I was like, hi, like, did you enjoy the show? And he just like yells like across the plaza to his friend. And he's like, friend's name. And he's like, dude, I didn't realize they were wearing so much makeup. And then he just like stands there and like looks at me and is like, and he's like, even the old guy, he has so much on. Because we had like a young person play Franklin D. Roosevelt, so we had to like shade him up. And I just thought that was so funny. And I was like, yeah, like we have to wear makeup because that's what makes us look good on stage. And then he just kind of ran away. So by now your face should be nice and set in there. I have this little rainbow brush that my friend gave me, and I just like to buff everything in and out. If there's any leftover powder, just that around your whole face, because right now the only parts that are powdered that have makeup on them are where the concealer is. We're gonna go back to the M139 brush and that base shade. And what I do is I just like pack it on there, and then I just flatly stamp it on the center of my lid. Like this, yeah? And that just puts the highlight back in there. That just cleans everything up because there's a little bit from the base. Pack, pack, pack. And there we go. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit spicy, I'll take a little bit of the white from the Morphe palette and a little bit of the tan and use that to highlight my brow bone. Or you can just use the neutral shade. And then I don't highlight my inner corners because that really makes my eye act up. Most of my eye makeup, like, this is as far as I'll go at home. At home, I get ready at home and then I go to the theater and I finish everything up. And this is as far as I'll go. I wait to do my lashes and the rest of my eye makeup before I get there, because if I put it on at home, already in the car ride, it'll all get messed up. Now, we are on to the face. That is the eyes for now. So I use this little kabuki brush and the Bare Minerals Pro Golden Nude 13 Performance Wear Powder Foundation. And this is what I use to cover the rest of my face and to cover a little bit of that flashback. Because while that doesn't capture on stage, luckily we're far enough away and there's no flash photography, when you are trying to greet your friends, you do not want to look like a ghost. I just pat it down everywhere so that hopefully it doesn't bring up my concealer by going like this. And this seems to work pretty great for me. This is the powder I've been using. Not this exact one. Honestly, maybe it probably, no, it's not. It's not. But I've been using this kind of powder since I was in junior high. And we were doing a show, and it was right around my birthday. And my friend had gotten me, I know my mom's gonna say that's not correct grammar. My friend got me a $30 Sephora gift card. And that was like my first, okay, this is enough foundation. We're going crazy. She got me my very first like makeup gift card, and I was so excited. And I remember like, oh, it's show season, like I'm gonna get a bougie foundation. And so I went and I got this one with my mom. The show was Legally Blonde, and I was one of the Harvard professors, so I had all this like aged makeup. And then later I came back in Bend and Snap as well as other numbers, but those were like the two differences. So I had like this old person makeup that was specialty creams, and then I had another one where I was supposed to look like super snatched and cute. And so that's why like this foundation was perfect, because I could just like, and just have like a little bit of coverage. So I remember I was in between quick changes, and I just like ran backstage, and I was like, shh. And it was a 90-person cast, I want to say. It was very large. And so we had these little bins that we would put all of our stuff in. It was like a little bin like this. And so I just like threw this on top of my bin. And then when I came back after the show, my compact was missing. And we spent like half an hour after like cleanup looking for my compact, and somebody had stolen it. And I was so upset. Somebody stole my foundation, who's probably not even my color. Like, why did you do that? And I was so mad because it was the first weekend. It was the first show of the first weekend. So I had to go out and buy another one in between shows, or else I would have no makeup. It was so frustrating. Next, I have this brush. This is my blush brush. It's a Morphe Y11, and I have this Tarte, the one that everybody has because it's a free sample from Sephora. I actually don't love this blush. I don't love it because it's patchy and it's not bright enough. But here we go anyways. I usually put this down as like a transition color. I put it all the way up, and then I focus on the apples of my cheeks. Wow, we're already looking more alive. And the reason that I focus on the apples of my cheeks is it suits my face shape, first of all. My room is pink and the lighting in here is pink, so I can't tell if this is good. But I also play a lot of children roles. And so children, we do not put the blush like this. The blush is like little rounds. But I like to put lots and lots of blush. Something else that I do. This has gotten me so much shade, and I want to cry. But I do not contour because I like to have a round face, especially for children's roles. Like, I just like my face to be round in general, so I don't do a lot of contour. But if you just leave your face like foundation and blush, that's what you look like. You look like a bleh circle with like and that's not the look we're here for. So what I do is I take a little bit, I put a little bit on my nose, which everybody knows. Everybody knows. And then I take a little bit and I put a little bit right here, like on the hairline, on the sides, and I put a little bit right here, and then I put a little bit on my chin. And the reason I do this is to put some more color around your face. And when you get a sunburn, and this is how I know that this is accurate, when you get a sunburn, that's where you get tan. I get a lot in my nose, on my cheeks, right here and here. And so that's why it makes sense to put the blush there, because that's the natural points where the sun hits your face. I got in an argument with a kid one time because I did his makeup, and I did that, and he like told on me to the director. And this kid is the same age as I am. I was 16 and he was 15, and he was too lazy to do his own makeup, which does not fly in theater. In theater, you need to know how to do your own makeup. Like, I don't care who you are, you do your own makeup. But I was being nice and a good friend, and so I did his makeup for him, and I did that. I'd like put the blush here, and I put here and here, and he like flipped out. And he went and he told one of the directors that like I didn't know how to do makeup, and I was like, okay, in the first place, like I shouldn't be doing your makeup, but whatever. And then like he yelled at me. And I was like, I didn't want to do your makeup in the first place. And so the next show, I was like doing my makeup by myself, and he's like, so are you gonna do my makeup? And I was like, no, not after you just yelled at me. Like, no, I almost cried. I was so like shocked. And then he threw a temper tantrum. He threw a temper tantrum, and the call time for most shows is 2 hours. So you get there 2 hours early. So he sat in the makeup room for 2 hours and did nothing. He sat there with his earphones in, doing nothing, staring at the wall. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you after you yell at my skills. I'm not helping you. And then the director comes backstage and she yells at this kid. I can't say his name, but she goes like, kid with no makeup on, what are you doing? Like, we go on in 5. What are you doing? And he was like, Zoe refused to do my makeup. And like, now the entire show is gonna fall apart because of her. And I was like, this man. And I think I said something like, well, I did his makeup yesterday, and then he went and told the dance director that I can't do makeup, and they both yelled at me, and so I don't want to do his makeup. And also, that's not my job, because he is a 15-year-old full-functioning human who can do his own makeup, thank you. And then he like told the director like, oh, I didn't realize that you were actually offended. And I was like, how could I not actually be offended when you literally like flipped out in the makeup chair and then told on me for no reason, like 5-year-old? And so then the director pulled me outside and she was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I hurt your feelings. And I was like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. And then she was like, but also just to let you know, blush is for the cheeks and not the rest of the face. So you shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. And I was like, I have to leave. I have to leave because this makes sense, okay? So long story short, that is where your blush goes if you're me. And if you're not me and I do your makeup, don't lose your mind. Thank you. Okay, so now we're heading back to the Morphe palette. Okay, so I like to use, depending on the day, I'm gonna use this shade right here. These shades don't have names, but this is like a pink and it has a little bit of a satiny finish. And so I like to reinforce my blush because it has to be bright. When you are on stage and everybody's far away, it has to be bright. So that I just focus on the apples of my cheeks. Put a little bit more on my nose. Just like just put more everywhere. Blush is your friend because you're trying to look cute, right? Sometimes I put too much and then my forehead is red like it is right now. But we'll just take this blush and just, you know? And sometimes if I'm really going crazy or on a really big stage, I'll also use a red, just like a straight up red eyeshadow and just put that even more on the cheeks. But we don't need that today. So that's pretty much it. Because I don't contour, and highlighter is not allowed. That is basically your face all completed. Eyebrow time. Let's do our eyebrows. So for my eyebrows, I use this Morphe, again, Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Latte. I just recently got into doing my brows and I'm not actually even into it. I have darker eyebrows, as you can obviously tell, so I don't struggle with the like no eyebrow face thing. So I never really did my eyebrows. Also, my eyebrows, they're like fine, but they're also like, if I tried to make them better, they'd be too small. Like if I took off anything, they'd be too small and then they just look worse. I had a girl in a show do them for me one time, and that's where I learned this method. What she does is she would do a brow gel, which I could not find, so I don't have. And then she would use this color and do the like individual brow hairs at the top. So what I just kind of do is I just kind of shape it with ye spoolie on the end here. And yeah. And sometimes if I'm feeling extra spicy, I'll draw in a couple hairs. You know what? Let's do it. But I think that this color is actually too dark for me. The fun part about doing this is you go like this, right? And then you like spoolie it out. And because of that, your spoolie has pigment on it. And so then next time you don't have to do your eyebrows because there's already pigment in here. You just gotta brush through it. That's the eyebrows all complete. So usually I would go back to my eyes now. So mascara cocktail. I don't know where I learned this, but using more than one mascara is magic. So the first one I use is the Voluminous Lash Paradise, the one that's tested on animals. I found that out after I bought it. It's the dupe for like the Better Than Beep. and I just, you know, put it on there. It's a mascara. It's not that difficult. This one, it helps a lot with, like, making your lashes thicker and darker. And, fun fact, all of my mascaras are in the color brown. Look, can you see the difference? I see the difference. Whoop. All my mascaras are brown. I think originally, because my very first mascara I bought, I think, was this one. That's not true. I've had other mascaras, but the most recently I bought this one. And I think they only had it in brown. Honestly, I think that was a suggestion from Kathleen Lights, which, like, have not watched her in a long time. But, yeah, I think it was her who said, like, that's an amazing mascara. Or maybe it was Tati. And so I like, no, it's not sucked. But I seeked it out. I'm in Ivy English. Okay. I seeked it out. And they only had it in brown. So I bought it because I was like, I love this YouTuber who suggested it. I don't remember who it was now. And I ended up loving it. So then when I bought this one, I bought it in brown as well. And I think it helps just look a little bit more natural. So this one helps separate. So the other one sometimes can be a little bit clumpy. So this one, just throw a little bit on there to separate those lashes out. That's not great. That's why we have, oh, another product from Morphe. The Morphe M221. It's a lash comb. This comb is so sharp. It's made of literal pins, which I don't enjoy having it near my eyelashes. Because if you've ever sat on this brush or like touched it, it's so sharp. But, you know, it's very fine. Fine as in like the bristles. So I just be careful. Oh, I just poked myself in the eye. This also helps like get off some of the product. Because this eyelash, there's so much on it. And the other one, there is not. This is why it's important to have a big mirror. You see it on the big mirror, you can see the difference. Whereas if you look at the individual eyes, they both look fine-ish. Okay, so this one, I look like a Muppet. It's just like, and I can't fix it, so I'm just gonna have to put more on the other side and have double Muppet eyes. Okay, that is where I'm gonna stop. So eyelashes, done. These two, great. And sometimes I just use this. When I'm a dancer, I am usually wearing fake eyelashes. I wear some kind by Ardell. My brain wants to say Demi Wispies because I've heard that before. But honestly, like, my mom bought them last time and she just like went to the drugstore and just bought a pack of lashes. And there you go. So I use that. Lash glue by House of Lashes or Duo. Use the kind that has a little brush. So much more helpful than putting it on your hand. No, that is nonsense. Get the one with the little brush. Okay, so now we're gonna finish up the eye look. Wow, I'm amazed at how easy this is, because usually this takes me like an hour, and so far it's only taken me 40 minutes, and I've stopped a bunch of times for funny stories. Usually I do this by myself, and it takes an hour, with no talking. So I don't know why that is. But I have this Morphe R45, it's rose gold. It's a super, super tiny angle brush. I put it in this contour from this palette here, the Clinique one. The definer shade, oh, it's Chocolate Chip Stay Matte. There you have it. So this is a trick that I learned when I was in Annie from the makeup designer. So this is common in theater. You have a makeup designer, so somebody who comes up with all the looks. If you have special effects looks, sometimes those designers stay. But what's most common is you have, or like what I've experienced, is you have a makeup director and they come up with all the looks and they do the study on what the makeup should look like and then they teach it to you. So that's why you don't have a makeup artist. This is not like television, because when you're doing so many shows a week, like, it's just so pointless to pay two people. Like, to pay someone to come in for 30 minutes and, you know, I'm guessing that's the reasoning. I don't know. But yeah, they don't have a makeup person to do your makeup for you. So you have to do it yourself. So this is something that the makeup designer taught us. It's eyeliner, so it's brown. She said always brown because black is too much. And then the next year she said to use black, but I just kept using brown. So I use brown. I use that brown eyeshadow because it's super just light on your eyes. You can use a pencil, but it's more difficult. You can also use like brow powder. And so what you do is you start on the outside edge and you go halfway in. So you go about to like the outside of your pupil, and that helps open up your eyes. So it creates like a shadow on the outside, but not on the inside. So the importance of not doing it on that like last 2/3 or that last half is because that completely defines where your eye is. That says like my eye is right here. But when you just do the outside, it says like, oh, the shadow, you know, and it just opens up your eyes. It makes them look so much bigger. I used to be super into like big, thick winged liner, but it's just not realistic for the roles that I'm playing because I'm playing mostly children, and I've recently been doing a lot of like time pieces. Like my last show, I did Meg from Wrinkle in Time. That's like the 80s, the 60s. I don't remember anymore. But eyeliner is just not popping in most of my roles. So I ditched the eyeliner, which if you want a good eyeliner, I used to use the black one by LA Girl. It's sold at Rite Aid, and it's very good. It's a brush tip instead of a felt tip, so it stays sharp. So if you need, and it's like black, black, black. So if you need, do it. But what I do now is I take a little bit of this and I line, oh, this would have been much easier if I had not done my mascara yet. I line across. And actually, sometimes you can use, because I have a brown brow pencil, you can use your brow pencil, because that's a pencil, so it's more pencil-y. But what this does is it just pulls everything together. It makes it look more finished. So it's actually not important to line the entire eye, but it's just important to put a line on top of where the highlight is. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. Because when there's not a line there and there's not like a little bit of darkness, it looks unnatural and it looks unfinished. Ta-da! And now it's time for the last step. Lips. Lips. So lips, really, I don't have a permanent shade. I usually mix every single one of my lipsticks together every single time because I can't decide. I'm gonna start off by lining with this NYX pencil, NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the color, is that Cane's? Cane's like the chicken? Color SMLL3131. I like this one because it's just a little bit darker than your lips. Something I used to do with this is I would just fill it in a little bit. So I would do like the line and then I'd go and then I'd take a chapstick and put chapstick. You know what? Let's do that because I don't want to wear lipstick. I line like this. And my lips are super chapped, so this will be great. And I just go like this. I'm using socialmedia.org freebie lip chapstick from my dad. Very fancy brand, my dad. And I just put some chapstick. Oh, this turned out really dark. The lipstick, that is. And you just like smear your lips together. Ta-da, lipstick. This is a little bit darker than I wanted. And this is why I end up mixing lipsticks, because the colors never turn out how I want them to turn out. I'm going to use this Soft Matte Lip Cream by NYX. I absolutely love these. Something you can do is put a brighter color on the inner lip. This one's great for that. This shade is called Amsterdam. Oh, and now our lips are too bright. I have this one and this one. Neither shade is correct, but both shades are great for mixing. So I can mix those two together or mix some of the other ones I have, and they're good. This one's a little bit purpley. This is Prague. Yeah, the lips usually take a little bit of a long time. Other of my favorite lip colors include this red one by Burt's Bees, Napa Vineyard Lip Crayon. And then there's another one by that fancy brand that's gray. I don't know, it's some fancy brand and it's like their neutral color. That one I like a lot. And that one's very natural and you don't have to mix it that much. Usually I just put a dab of like this in the center or a dab of the Burt's Bees one to just like brighten it up a little bit, but that one is a very good go-to. And that was also one of the birthday freebies from Sephora. Last but certainly not least is the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I also like the one by NYX. This one is honestly such a ripoff. You get 2.8, so almost 3 ounces, and it's like $15. And the NYX one, you get so much more for the same price, for like $11, the biggest size. So this one is a ripoff, but I really like the spray. But both work. We're gonna spray to set it in place. To help set it in place, I like to fan it. Usually I have a little handheld fan that I keep in my makeup kit. So it's like, but I think it broke. I don't know where it is. That really helps like suck it down. Sometimes also when I have my blow dryer, I just use my blow dryer. And that's fun because it's less work. But this just really helps set the makeup in place, and I feel like it helps make it look more lively because I use so many powders. It really just helps everything blend together. And I find that it really helps blend out my blush. Sometimes my blush looks like gone after we've setting sprayed, so sometimes I have to reapply. But yeah, this is my face. Okay, no. This is my normal makeup routine. I use this for everything. I use it for the stage. I use it for real life. The only two places there are. Sometimes I modify little things, like I make the eyes darker depending on the size of the stage or like the character if I'm more serious. But for the last 3 years, this has done it for me. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed. I probably will not leave anything in the description box below because that's a lot of typing and we're trying to escape school, which is typing. John, stop. I have 2 paragraphs to type for my French class, but we're not doing that, and we're not telling you what products we used either. So hopefully you paid attention. Yeah, that's about it. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed my makeup routine, and make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Bye. My head is so small when I sit on my bottom.